All right, so checking out something new today. I'm super excited about this, the dialed Arxos sight. Obviously the most expensive sight I've ever bought or used or anything like that. $550, I believe, is kind of what this costs getting out the door roughly, which seems stupid expensive for a sight, but when you look at like the UV slider, it's $600. The landslide, AccuTouch, I believe, landslide's like $550. There is a market for those higher end sights. Garmin is like $1,000. So I mean, granted, it does some pretty cool stuff. So there are some higher end sights that are, you got to go, well, maybe they're worth it. So the reason I'm checking this one out is I love the customization of it, like the ability to make it match your bow. We'll look into that a little bit more. But I had actually watched the Chris B video, like a lot of people did, months ago, where he got one of these and checked them out. And he was kind of critical about some stuff on it that I thought, that's kind of weird. Like, you know, normally it's pretty positive. Like when Lancaster sends him something, obviously he is trying to be positive about it because Lancaster wants to sell those items that he's reviewing. So obviously he's got to put a positive spin on it. But this was one of the few things I thought he was really pretty negative about, and pretty negative about some minor things. Like one of the things was he said, you might hit your knuckles when you turn the dial. I mean, like, okay, I remember watching that and thinking like, that's kind of weird that he would even bring that up. But then, you know, a month or two later, they come out with the UV slider, which is a pretty big competitor to this. And now it makes sense why he was as negative as he was. Again, love Chris B. I watch all his stuff. I think he's a great advocate for the sport. But I just thought that was interesting. He was pretty negative about this. And it turns out they're having a competitor to this. So let's crack this out, take a look at it, and get it mounted on a bow. All right, so. All right, when you get this in, looks like you've got a little bit of a instruction booklet. Just kind of some numbered parts to there. It doesn't give you much information. Sight tapes and maybe a decal in there. So that's that. I won't use their sight tapes, I don't think. I'll use my my precision cut archery sight tapes. At least that's what I'm planning on doing. Inside here, we've got the actual sight. I ordered the extra ring here. I don't know what they call it, but an extra ring. And then I think, hopefully, yep, down here at the bottom. Well, that's cool. They actually send you another ring. So I have 3 rings now. I didn't know that it would come with these 2 since I selected a matching green one. I kind of figured that's all it would have. And then we've got the actual rail that will go on the riser itself. So I'm going to put these up because I don't need them. I won't use them. Hopefully I'll print my own, which that in itself is going to be a little tricky because of the way this sight moves. So this is what we're looking at. Kind of the big thing about this is supposedly you can get farther shots with this. So I'm putting this on my tack bow. I went with the 3 pins. I call them a mag, I guess, the 3-pin mag, which is really cool. It's very bright. This little slider on top, you slide that forwards and backwards, and it does make a big difference. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but that's it open. That's it closed. So you can tell a big difference when that light's opened up. It really does a good job. The negative of that is if you want to run their aftermarket light, it's pretty how I don't remember exactly what the price is, but pretty expensive to put their aftermarket light on there. But the 3 pins here, the level being on top supposedly gives you a little more distance down here, and the way that it moves and how it moves up and down at an angle supposedly gives you a little more clearance with your arrows when you shoot. So pretty neat there. It does have the ability, so this one's a 3 pin, so I've got 2 indicator pins down here, and this line here should be my other indicator pin. So you can move these 2 up and down around here as you want. The only negative to this that I'm not a fan of is they're going to just be set. I can't adjust these pins. So this may end up being like 20 and 33 and 45 or some odd numbers. And of course I'll have indicators here to show me where those are, but I really wish, one thing that the UltraView gives you the ability to do is take those 3 pins from the side and actually move them and get them at 20, 30, 40 if that's what you want. So that would be a neat feature to have on here to be able to adjust this. It looks like I can actually change that out. So if I want to go to a 10,000th pin, I can swap that out pretty easy. I can add the lens and sunshade, fairly expensive. It's about 150 bucks, but you can add a lens and sunshade kit to the end of this. You know, you're getting on up there in price when you start adding that and the aftermarket light and stuff like that. But one of the things about this I really like, and the reason I went with this, I'm putting this on my Levitate, which kind of has green accents, so I thought these neon green accents would look really good on that. But I also thought I might use it, I might end up using it on my my lift. And if I do that, I can swap this out. I can buy the earth tone matching colors, if that makes sense. So if I was going to put this in the bridge lock of my Matthews, I could just buy the other, what they call voids here, that match the earth color on their website, and then this would match my Matthews really well. So really cool that you get the ability to customize it and make them match your bow. UltraView didn't give you that feature at the time, so I thought that was pretty neat that you could customize this. And they have some like these mags. They've got some of those that are, you know, small batch or customized as well. And even this whole side here, I just chose black because, again, I could swap it out on this bow or my other bow and it not be a big deal. I could have gone a gray or, you know, a color that might match a little better, a charcoal color, but again, I wasn't 100% sure which bow I was going to put it on. So the first thing you'll notice about the dialed Arxos, it is heavy built. It looks plastic and kind of 3D printed. Like when you look at this void, you think that's probably a plastic piece. It's not. It's aluminum. The whole thing's aluminum. The only thing that I'm seeing that I think is plastic are these little sight tape clips, which maybe those shouldn't be. I mean, they have a set screw, you can tighten them down. That worries me a little bit, but again, they send you two, and I bought a third one. They're cheap, they're 10 bucks. They're one of the few things about this that you go, that's pretty cheap, pretty affordable. So let's get this thrown on the Levitate and see how it looks. All right, so we've got her mounted on here. Next thing we're gonna do, I'm gonna put the neon green sight tape on here, sight, whatever you want to call these. I don't know, they have a name for them, but whatever these dials are going to be called. So there's just a little screw here. Just loosen that up and you can slide that right off. I'm going to have a pretty long sight tape with this, but it looks like if you just leave this thing loose, you can rotate it and get your 0 to be at whatever your 20 is, and then you can measure that distance for like precision cut archery. And these are plastic. Again, this would be the only thing that I could see like failing on this. Because they are plastic. Everything else seems to be really well built aluminum, so I think it turns out pretty good. It's not an exact match to this neon. It's a little more of a faded looking green neon. But yeah, it's good enough. It looks good enough. I wish it was more of that like bright neon, kind of pop neon. You can kind of see the difference in the way the Levitate is in that. But let's get arrows set up on it. All right, so we got our bars on. We got some extra weights in our pocket. We're gonna see if we can get a 20-yard sight tape. All right, so I've got my dialed sight at what would be 20 yards. I got to get my measurement from my peep to my pin. I've got to do that at what would be my 20-yard mark. So I've got to get a 20-yard mark, and I really need to get like a 50-yard mark so I can have that gap in my printed sight tape from my specialty archery software. So I'm going to try to get that done today. I could just do the dialed sights, but I like the customization of the specialty archery. So I'm going to start real close because I have no clue how this is going to go, and then we'll start backing up. So we're at like 7 yards right now. 7 or 8 ought to be pretty close. So that is zeroed out. If I move this down, then I can get the full turn of the angle here. I'm gonna shoot one more just to make sure, but if this one's off, I'll go move. I'll go move this down to the bottom. All right, yep, so I'm gonna go loosen these 2 bolts, bump this all the way down, and then check it again. All right, 20 yards even. All right, so that's our 20. So, I don't know how we can see it in this light, but my 20 is actually like my 19. So what I'm gonna do is loosen this, or 21. My 20 is like my 21. I wasn't off by much. So I'm gonna loosen this, turn this knob, get it to that line up here to be at my 21. Of course, I did not bring the wrench for that. I loosened this. I'm going to put this, what would be the 20 line. And then I'm just going to tighten that back up a little bit. Don't go crazy because these little dials are plastic. You just want to snug them up to where they won't rotate. Everything else is nice aluminum, but those little things are plastic. I'm going to get a few measurements on this, peep to pin and peep to arrow, and then I should be able to print a sight tape pretty quick and easy. Alright, so I've entered my information. Yesterday I got all my measurements and put it in Precision Cut Archery. I'm going to take my middle sight tape here for this particular bow, and I'm actually going to go ahead and put it on one of these extra dials, which is pretty cool. They send you these to do that with. So I actually put the green one on. I actually probably take the green one off and put, you know, this on the green one because it matches my bow. But for now, I'm going to put this sight tape on this white ring and then line up 20 yards with it, and then we'll go test it out and see how she shoots. So I'm just going to take my tape and overlap it. Get off my finger. It's not very straight, but it doesn't really matter. Just line her up on this. And just like that, we've got our new sight tape installed. We've got our 20-yard indicator up here. Since this is pretty fast, it's got everything pretty jumbled up. My other pins I hadn't even looked at yet. I'm not even worrying about them. Let's go see how she shoots. Back on up and check a little more at distance. Just above the heart. Shoot one more. Those arrows are touching. We're going to 50 yards. Nothing else, we'll get a mark to have 2 marks between like 20 and 50, and then dial caliper those 2 marks, and then reprint a sight tape that might be slightly more accurate. So 50 yards with no lens. Not the best group, but first shot, second shot, third shot, fourth shot I was getting a little shaky. But yeah, those 3 at 50 yards is slightly right. I mean, you can just about get your hand around them. I hadn't been shooting 50 yards in a long time. Alright, so last little bit about this dialed sight. I think it's pretty sweet. I really like it. I don't have any complaints about it. It's just different than what people have used, so it seems like, you know, maybe it's going to take a little bit of getting used to. I bought this one specifically to put on a hunting bow, but I like it so much, I think I may put it on my target bow. And I like all the aspects about it, you know, for the most part. You know, the things that you saw on some of those original YouTube videos, like being able to push this down, you ain't pushing that down. It ain't going anywhere. If it is, you need to tighten these two little screws up inside here. The dial's smooth. You know, I've got mine set to where it's pretty firm, which I want it that way so I can set it where I want it, go hunt, don't have to worry about it getting hit and knocked. The adjustments on the clicks is smooth. The third axis, I've seen people complain about that. It's like underneath the, where you extend this out, adjust the third axis, and then you push back in. I don't know how often people are messing with the third axis. I rarely, if ever, mess with my third axis, so, you know, maybe that's why I don't shoot good. I don't know, it could be, or it just could be that some people are making a bigger deal out of something that's not that big a deal. I love the look, the customization, the sleek ability of it, the ability to get extra yardage on it. So I mean, my sight tape goes out to 120, kind of give you an idea, and I still have clearance here underneath my drop away at 120. So sight tape aspect of it is great. I love that you can swap these out like an HHA. I love the level on top. Takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you get used to it, it's awesome. It's not a problem at all. The little slide thing here, mine's tight. I don't know what some of these other people were saying, like theirs was loose. Like mine's tight. I don't know what that's all about. But anyway, the brake system works good for me. You can turn it on, turn it off. I have no issues with it. Mine does seem to be getting a little bit smoother as I go. It's not bad, but it's originally it seemed like it was really tight, and I was like, okay, I get what they're saying. But as I've used mine, I don't seem to have an issue with it anymore. And again, some people need to adjust their brake probably more than anything. Pins are super bright. Everything's good and solid. No shake, no vibration, no rattle, nothing out. I mean, any of those ones, I don't know if that was just the first batch deal or what, but so far, this thing's been awesome. Looks great. Like I said, I may put it on my, I shoot Hunter Elite, so I may put it on my hunter bow. If I put it on my hunting bow, or my target bow, if I put it on my target bow, it's this Matthews Lift in Earth. So the fact that I can just order a new dial for $45 that matches the Earth, slap it in that bridge lock, and it's ready to go, pretty awesome. So I think I went ahead and ordered a 4X lens and a sunshade for it as well, because I thought if I shoot some 3D with it, certain courses, certain places allow you to have that. Most Hunter 45s don't, but some do. So I went ahead and ordered it so I'd have that as an option, but highly recommend it. Now the price is high, $550 or something like that, $500 maybe, but you're getting a really good sight. You're getting a 3-pin. I mean, I ordered the 3-pin, so I've got 3 indicators and 3 pins. That's how I wanted it. I mean, the only thing I wish it had is I wish the pins were adjustable individually. I wish you could raise and lower and change that gap from 20, 30, 40 instead of it's probably going to end up being like 20, 32, and 44. You know, weird numbers like that, because the pins are just fixed inside there. That's just the way they are. There's not really any way around that, I don't think. But really cool sight, looks phenomenal. I think it's well built, it's very durable. I was surprised with it. I thought it'd be more plasticky feeling. Very sturdy, very solid. I will hunt with this sight this fall. Check it out, dialedarchery.com. By the way, I paid for this with my own money. I get nothing out of this. They did not send me one. I'm not sponsored. So if you're watching like Chris B and some of the others who have a competing sight that came out and they're trashing this one for silly things, you might want to go, I'm a little skeptical of that. As you should be. This site's awesome. So appreciate it. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you.